Hello everyone and welcome to my Sky Temple guide, the first actual map guide that I'm doing in this series of guides. And I've chosen Sky Temple to begin with because I feel like this is, well, first of all, it's the newest map. I also feel like it's one of the most interesting maps and most poorly understood maps so far. So in this guide I'm going to discuss various different things. I'm going to discuss how the temples work, how you should be trying to capture the temples, something about experience gathering, how to win out in Merc Camp usage and Sky Temple occupation. And I'm gonna reveal certain information and details that you might not know about the temples yet. I have one replay to show you. It just happens to be the most recent game that I played on Sky Temple. It's nothing special, just a solo queue game with... actually, I queued up as triple, but it's not a proper Hero League game. And I just want to show you how I myself and how the team and the opponent's team is trying to properly make use of maximum greed versus appropriate safety. Okay. Let's show you guys some concepts. Okay. Temples. Sky Temple is a map with 3 different temples, and this is the major map objective, and there's also 3 lanes. If you've played Heroes of the Storm yet, you already know this. It's one of the 6 maps that you can meet in Hero League or Quick Match, and here's some of the basic information. Periodically, temples activate and can be occupied to deal range damage to enemy buildings. As the game goes on, the damage that the temples do to enemy buildings goes up, and the positions that temples activate keeps changing. There is some system to it, which I will explain later. Temples start attacking the first cannon tower of a wall, then the gate, then the second cannon tower, the moonwell, finally the fort, and then starts going to the next forts, and eventually to the keeps, and even to the core. Guardians will spawn periodically to defend the temples. There's one big guardian that knocks you back. There's 2 melee guardians and 2 ranged guardians. You don't need to defeat them to occupy the temple and have all of its charges shoot on the enemy siege structures. You can stand there and just tough it out, survive it, let them hit you, or you can kill them quickly to reduce damage to yourself. Whether you use mana on them or not is going to rely on the situation and what kind of hero you are. Occupying a temple at the same time as your opponent means the temple is under no one's control. You can wrest control from the opponent by pushing them out or killing them, or you can stand on it together and then no one has it until one gladiator stands victorious. And the guardians don't need to die. Okay, let's go to the next page. Some miscellaneous data on the temples, which is interesting, important, which you can play by feel or instinct, but if you know them it may help you. Temples always spawn 2 minutes after the last shot from the previous temples. So if you take note of when the final temple of a certain wave, of a certain spawn finishes, you can just look at the game clock, add 2 minutes and know when the next ones are going to spawn. Stealing a temple from the opponent or from unoccupied position takes 3 seconds. So from the moment you get on it, after 3 seconds it starts dispensing ammo to shoot shots at the opponent. Temples have 45 shots and the last 5 shots will be automatic. At that time, when you see the final 4 or 5 shots happen, you can step off the temple and it will rapidly fire the last few shots at the enemy. The boss guardian who does the knockback swath, you can interrupt that one. So you can like stun him or displace him and he won't knock you back. The damage is 400 damage per hit at the very first temple spawn. After that you keep adding 60 damage for the first 2 to 3 waves. And after that it will keep scaling extra 80 damage per spawn. So it's plus 60, plus 60, plus 60, plus 80, plus 80, plus 80 ad infinitum. Depending on how long the game goes. The first 2 temple spawns are in a fixed pattern. Namely the top and the middle are first at 1 minute 30. And then the next one, which is 2 minutes after the first one's end, will be at the bottom only, single temple. After that there is more randomness. You'll have 2 spawns on the 3rd spawn, 2 temples at the 3rd spawn, and after that there's more randomness, like it can be 1 or 2, which isn't completely fixed, and neither is the positioning. But one more constant thing is that the 7th spawn will always be 3 temples at the same time. And the 8th spawn of temples is also 3 temples at the same time. But it is rare to get there, and I don't know what the 9th spawn is, because I was always dead or already killed the opponent. Next point. Positioning. Warning time and damage. This is some interesting info. Here you see the damage that each spawn does, as you can see by the number. So you can see that it starts to more rapidly scale from the 5th spawn onwards, which is plus 80. Also, the first 3 temple spawns have a 15-second warning, requiring you to already be in the right position and react quickly. And it's good because they're kind of predictable. Top middle, into bottom, into top bot or mid bot. So you always know that the 3rd one is going to have at least a bot, but the other one is middle or top. So you can make sure that you have people that you want to be at bot, and the people that you want to be at the middle or the top are at the top lane, so that you can choose the direction. After that, the warnings start being 30 seconds, because there's more randomness, I suppose. I think that's how Blizzard imagined it. And as you can see, the 7th and the 8th spawn are 3 temples. Hero League drafting tips. There's a few things that you should keep into account when you're choosing which heroes to play on Sky Temple. Every now and then, when a certain amount of heroes may be dead from your team and the opponent's team, you may be required to fight 1v1. Heroes of the Storm is not a hero brawler game where you can casually 1v3 people or 1v4 people because you have expanded your level or your prowess far beyond mere mortals. Generally, when you're 2 versus 3, you will lose. When you're 1 versus 2, you will lose. Equal odds, equal numbers, that's a different situation. One thing we can say is that if a person has been holding a temple by himself for a while, and there's one other person with full health and mana coming to push him out, he will probably kill him or push him out. Just because the first one has been using abilities, losing HP and mana on the Guardians. So, a late 1v1 arrival, the newcomer will usually win. This can be different though if the guy is very self-sufficient, if the hero is very self-sufficient. Gazlo, for instance, may have set up a network of many turrets and will not be pushed out by a single opponent. That is why Gazlo's respective worth on Sky Temple is higher than on other maps. Whether or not you think Gazlo is a tier 1 or a tier 4 hero, that doesn't really matter, but his respective worth is higher on Sky Temple, if played well. So how self-sufficient are heroes? How many heroes do you think can be beat one-on-one by Malfurion? Not a whole lot. Malfurion is not a good 1v1 player. He can heal himself, he can kind of Moonfire and tangle the opponent, but he has a relatively low damage. Twilight Dream helps to solo enemy heroes a lot better, but if you don't have Twilight Dream, you got the healing out, you're likely not going to do enough damage to kill someone. So, while Malfurion is really good in a 5v5 temple situation, because of Heal Ward, Tranquility, Twilight Dream, and Tangle, which can hit a lot of people in clustered up situations, is not as good a 1v1er, so keep this into mind when you're taking Hero League options. The same with Diablo. He's really good in a 5v5, but he's not that good at 1v1ing others. If you put a Diablo against an Arthas, or you put Diablo against Muradin, Arthas or Muradin gonna beat him, because they can self-heal with their level 16 talent, or even their basic ability in Arthas' case. Diablo can self-heal, but only at level 7 if he picks an off-meta talent. Level 7 usually go Battle Momentum, or increased soul count, like 150 souls. Generally speaking, you won't be going for the one where you eat souls to gain a heal ward's worth of HP regeneration with Diablo. So think of that as well. And then let's look at what kind of map Sky Temple is. Occasionally, and in particular in the first 2 temples, as well as the second wave of temple spawn where you have only 1 temple, Sky Temple really is a hard engage map. You gotta go in hard with your whole team for the second temple spawn, because there's only 1 temple, and it's around when heroes starting to reach level 9 and 10. And if the opponent gets the entire temple and they were already leading in XP, they're going to be level 11 versus 9 and be significantly ahead in siege. And they may ride that advantage to the end of the game. However, Sky Temple is not as snowbally as some people believe. But it is a hard engage map. When I think of poke maps, I think more of haunted mines where you can indulge in evasion creeping. This is this word that I came up with in Warcraft 3, which is you go get the skulls, but you fly away when someone else contests you. So if you have the lower hero levels on the haunted mines, or your heroes are split, you are split from your teammates, you would ideally like to snipe off a few skulls and then go back. Whereas if you're the stronger one, or you need to focus on killing enemy heroes, you would group as 5 to the middle 2 camps on haunted mines, right? Excuse me. To steal skulls and kill enemy heroes. So, Cursed Hollow, it takes quite long to get a tribute. So you can moonfire from a distance, interrupt. Poking is important. Sky Temple, poking doesn't do a whole lot. Someone is standing on the temple, you poke them a bit, doesn't matter. They're not channeling a tribute. They're not trying to capture the Dragon Knight. So it's a hard engage map. Think of which heroes are good in a hard engage. So think really powerful ultimates, heroic abilities, which you may have a long cooldown, but which may just completely conquer a temple. That's gonna be good. Self-heal speaks for itself. If you can heal yourself, you can keep a temple more safely. It's better that than if someone comes to try and steal the temple from you and you're half life already. And finally, think of AoE abilities, area of effect. Things that do area of effect, healing or damage, are going to be more effective in a hard engage map. So think of things like Heal Ward. Make sure you always have a hero in the Hero League draft which has Heal Ward, because healing the entire team is really good. The bottom temple is very cramped. When you're fighting for it, it's difficult to get to the enemy's backline and snipe that little Heal Ward away. So think of that as well. Okay, the early game and the temples and the lane experience. I've already said the first temple spawn at top and middle, and the next one spawns at the bottom. It is predictable, and therefore it's good to form a team strategy around that. Soon, by the way, I'll go to a replay and I'll start showing a few of these things. But I just want to finish the last bit of data here on Sky Temple. Be realistic. I see too many teams try to take both of the first 2 temples. How likely are you to win both temples? Say for instance the opponent splits 2 at the top temple and 3 at the bottom, at the middle. 2, 3. And you do 3, 2. You're going to beat the 2 with the 3 and you're going to lose the 3 with the 2. Okay, now you only got one of them, but you've tried to fight for the other one and maybe you lose some heroes there. Say for instance the opponent commits 5 heroes to the top temple and 0 to the middle. And you're trying to split. It doesn't matter how you split. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 1. Doesn't matter. You're gonna lose the top temple because the opponent's 5 heroes are there. Why were you trying in the first place? Like, is it realistic? So I'm trying to manage your expectations of greed versus safety. Now take the following formula. You share temples. It doesn't matter whether, you split temples, 1 each. Okay? It doesn't matter whether the opponent has a top or the middle. But the one that is yours may be contested partially by the enemy. Say for instance they have a 2-3 division, okay? 2-3. You would need to conquer the middle temple with 4. 4 is greater than 3 by 1. And then you have 1 hero left. What are you gonna do with that? The best thing to do is to soak middle lane and bottom lane. So you go to the middle, kill as many minions as possible. You go to the bottom, kill as many minions as possible, and then come to the middle again. Now you're trying to soak 2 lanes. You can be pretty effective at this if there's no enemy to contest and push the lane. So now you're trying to get the most out of it. Your 4 will be 3, means you get the temple, you will kill some heroes, and the other guy is getting experience. Now let's say if they commit 2 to the middle, and you decided you want to take the middle. Commit 3, and let 2 people lane. 1 top, 1 middle, and bottom together. If they commit 1, you commit 2 to the temple, and you have 3 people to passively lane each lane. Do it safely, because the opponent only committed 1 to the middle, and maybe they have 4 at the top. Which means, from those 4, once they realize you're not contesting it, they can send 3 down to the top lane and kill that guy. So don't be out there in the lane, in the middle, or even at the enemy's gate. Don't even attack the minions. Just be right inside the XP range of the minions that are fighting here, right outside, and let the wave push towards you. If they are attacking minions, it will push towards you. Use the tower ammunition to soak from it, maybe even from behind the gate. Don't push it all the way, because you're gonna die. That will be called overextending. So the formula is commit +1 to the middle temple and soak with everything else. Now say for instance they commit 0 to the bottom temple and 5 at the top. That's your time to laugh. You're gonna say you commit 5 to top. Okay, I don't try to take the top, I put 0 there. I can put 1 in every lane, 1 on the temple, and I still got 1 left. Well, maybe I go get bruisers. Okay, now we got 1, 1, 1 on the lanes, which is 100% of XP. We got the temple, and we're getting someone is getting the bruisers. That would be the ultimate greed, which if they do not adapt, they keep 5 at the temple, is going to be the greatest possible advantage that you will get. Maybe it's too greedy, because one point is adjustments. I just said what is optimal, but you need to make adjustments. So if you see they commit 2, you put 3 there, but now suddenly they bring 2 more, and now they have 4. Well, then it's time to bring your whole damn team to the middle, take them out, kill them as much as possible, take the temple, and if they're dead, you can be greedy, finish the middle temple, then go to the top and take that one too. While trying to maybe see, can you spare anyone to collect experience points? So there's a +1 rule of half the temples, given an equal situation. If all things are similar. Now if you're like level 4 in the early game, and they are level 2 because they did a 5-man gank at the watchtower and you're dutifully collecting experience everywhere, okay, maybe it's time to stretch your greed to the limit and commit 2-3 or 3-2 to the temples, to take both. Because the temples are more powerful than lane experience. If you can get both for the full duration, that's going to be more worthy than lane experience. So think about that, greed versus safety play. Need to be in the right place. For the bottom temple, it's different. Everyone's got to go, unless you're clear that your team of 5 cannot beat their team of 5, even with the initiation advantage. That is to say, your 5 are already occupied on strategic location in the bottom temple, and the opponent has to push in through a narrow gap. And you can aim all your AoE spells there and put Zombie Wall and Psy Storm and what have you, Impales. Even if then you think you will lose, maybe because you're 2 levels behind. Well, maybe then you're gonna lose anyway. But let's say if you have 1 person dead or 2 people still at the top lane when the bottom temple is already open, and the top lane they're out of position. Okay then, push with 3 people on the top, do a vanilla push on their top fort, and soak from every lane with one guy. But generally speaking, the rule for the second wave of temple, which is the bottom one only, is first team to arrive with all 5 and full HP and mana. The first team to arrive wins the temple. So if you're both full HP and mana, you and your opponent, and you arrive first and you set up, you're gonna win. So I have this rule, which is first to arrive always wins. Ceteris paribus, if everything else is the same. Now late game. How many temples do you take? It can be 1 temple, 2 or 3. Now this is complicated and is only illustratable. It's only showable, let's say, in a replay, because it's too complicated. You need to see the exact situation. Case by case can be different. One thing you should keep in mind is, let's say the 7th temple spawn. 3 temples open. You have 1 keep, the opponent has 3 keeps. 2 temples will take down the keep and kill your core. So you can't give them 2 temples. And there's 3 temples open. If you go with 5 people to 1 temple to wrest control, and they did a 1-2-2 division, doesn't matter which one you push, you're gonna beat it. You're gonna kill the guy or push him out, and you're gonna take the temple. But all you'll do maybe is kill 1 keep. They're gonna win the game. So you can't commit 5 to 1 temple when the opponent has got you down to just 1 keep. So you need to take at least 2, but you may or may not have the information of how the opponent is split. So this is difficult. And in this scenario, it's going to be difficult to win. And the best thing that can happen for you is that your opponent somehow got it in his head to do a 5v5 at the middle temple. This gives you the best chance to win, because if you wipe their team, you can take all temples and commit 2 people to push the enemy fort in a vanilla fashion. Which is to say, normal push. I call that vanilla push. So the opponent, when you are the one that has 3 keeps, you have 3 keeps, the opponent has 1, what you should do is do a 1-2-2, 2-1-2 or a 2-2-1 division. And then, when you see that the opponent commits, for instance, 2-2-1 and you are 2-2-1, well then it's just going to be about who has the best micromanagement, team play between the two, which heroes are most effective, self-sufficient and so forth. For instance, if I have an auto-attack Zeratul, that is to say, I have the Rambo build that I showed you briefly in my one-stop Zeratul guide, which you can also find on my YouTube here. And I got Seasoned Marksman, Vampiric Assault, Searing Attacks, Shadow Assault, I got Assassin's Blade, Berserk. I'm going to be able to 1v1 practically any hero in the game. So if I'm the 1 versus 1, I'm going to keep that shrine. I'm going to keep that temple. So the opponent would have to commit 2 to me, which means they're going to lose another one. Needless to say, having 3 keeps versus 1 is a huge advantage, which should be exploited by spreading out and trying to get all 3 temples. And it's okay to lose 1. And even if you lose 2, you're going to kill the opponent's final keep. Now if there's suddenly, you kill that keep, let's say even if they take all 3 temples but you don't lose any heroes, so you can do a 5-man attack on the core while trying to keep the temples. Finally, there are situations where your opponent has heroes down and you're capturing temples. Or there could be a top temple and a bottom temple. You've got the top, they've got the bottom. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay with 5 people on the temple? They're all the way down there and you've got a direct path to the keep. Even if the top temple is attacking the keep at the top, you can commit 1, 2, 3, 4 people to go attack it in vanilla fashion. This helps the laser to take down that keep quickly, and you'll see this in the replay later. I'll be doing that. Finally, merc camps. Bruiser camps are not the best merc camp in the game. The siege giant and the boss are better for pushing generally, but bruisers, when left alone, will drain ammunition from enemy towers and forts very well, and eventually slow push a fort. But they're easy to clear up when the enemy heroes are there. They don't do a lot of damage. They have decent HP, but yeah, they take some time to clear up, but it's not risky, let's say. However, if you take the bruisers right before the second temple spawn, and the second temple spawn is usually around 4 minute 10 seconds, 4 minute 20 seconds. If you capture the top bruisers at 4 minutes, it's going to create a division in attention for the opponent. Because the bottom temple will be calling to arms the entire team, the entire heroes from both teams. Meantime, your bruiser camp is pushing top lane, and they cannot afford to commit a hero or 2 to clear it up. So by the time the bottom temple is done, which could be a minute later, or 1.5 minutes later if there's a lot of fights and people stepping off the temple and so on, during this time, top bruiser camp will have been pushing the top fort, and may have got it completely down, all ammo gone, or 30 to 60% damage on the top fort. So keep that in mind. Mercenary capture timings are very relevant to your game plan. The bottom bruisers usually get cleared up anyway. I mean, they spawn at 2 minutes, but during this time you're still fighting for temple. You may be able to optimize your greed and see, okay, we got 1 temple, they got the top temple, let's take the bruisers at the same time. And it's going to push bottom lane while everyone is focused on middle and top lane. That would be ideal. But generally speaking, if you can't capture the bruisers early, they're going to get cleared up pretty easily anyway. Okay, that was it. Thanks for watching, and now I'd like to show a replay. Okay, this is a game that I played last night, and we just look at the composition. We've got Malfurion, Gazlo, Zeratul, Tychus, Vikings. This was a quick match game, so we don't have a melee warrior, and the opponent's got 2 melee warriors, Diablo and Stitches, as well as Zagara, Terran and Malf. Terran can take heal ward, and she's good damage, and she has a bit of heal, so I call her half a healer, half a damage. But she functions kind of like full damage. Malfurion has low damage, but is a full healer. So they got 1.5 healers, they got kind of 2 damage and 2 tanks. And Stitches can be built for damage as well. Of course everyone does damage and soaks damage, but that's kind of how I characterize it. And we've got zoning damage, we've got full heal, we've got melee damage with cloak, we've got full range damage, and global map control XP soak damage as well. Kind of tanky sometimes. Alright. In the initial laning phase, let's forget for a moment that Vikings is 3 separately controllable heroes because he's keeping them together. In the initial laning phase, you generally will split 2-2-1 or 3-1-1 or 1-3-1. The bottom lane should have someone that can clear waves quickly and easily. The reason is, at 1 minute 30 of game time, you'll be called upwards to at least initially see if you might be required to capture the middle temple. If you think that you can take, let's say you give away top temple, you take the middle with 2, but you stay in every lane. Now if they committed 3 to the middle and 2 to the top, they're going to initially have both temples. And that is damaging in Siege. So you cannot really afford to stay at bottom if you don't have full information about who is going where. So let's assume that you want to get as much XP as possible from the bottom lane before going up. So you should have someone who can clear waves well. If you put it to Rand at bottom lane, she isn't going to be able to kill the minions quick enough. She's going to go up to help at the middle temple while there's still many enemy minions alive. And she's missing experience points. Now Zagara is excellent at clearing, forget these death timers by the way, that's a bit of a bug of the replay. Zagara can clear wave excellently, Vala can do it, Stitches can do it, Malfurion not as much. Diablo, he's not the fastest either, neither's Tyrande. So the fact that they put Zagara here makes perfect sense. Vikings have the highest damage on their base attack when you add it all together in the entire game. So they can clear waves together very well as well. Now we could have put Gazlo or Zeratul there as well as Tychus. The only one we couldn't put there is Malf. But the way it went is Vikings went there, which is fine. Then we have a 2-2 division. It doesn't really matter whether you do 3-1-1 or 2-2-1. Although I can say that if you do 2-2-1, you have the most flexibility of who to send where. When you do 3-1-1 here, it's very likely that you will try to contest top lane, the top temple when it spawns. And this gives information to the opponent. They know that you're going to contest the top, which means they can take the middle with a token force of 1 or 2 heroes and optimally get lane experience in every other lane. The 2-1 is more free choice, let's say. Right, so the vision is nice to have, so long as you don't lose experience. 1 footman died here with the red team not getting the XP. It's not the biggest of deals. But yeah, the vision, it does provide information and will allow you to more optimally divide your heroes to get the optimal temple saturation of heroes as well as get experience from every lane still. I'm the Zeratul here and I'm soaking between the middle and the bottom lane. I want to kill minions here and there because I've got Seasoned Marksman. I get stacks of extra basic damage permanently for every minion that dies near me. That's why I'm rotating between the two. Okay, now the temples are spawning. 15-second warning. We're gonna use my healing. So let's see the movement of both teams. See the Vikings and the Zagara. Okay, look. Zagara is leaving with 3 minions still alive. So that's a little bit of experience lost. The Vikings have decided to clear every last minion. So small experience lead to the red team, which you can see already. Here, both are still alive, but it's very easy if you have 2 heroes here. Even if you're holding the mid-temple, for 1 hero to briefly pop down and clear the enemy wave. Get that experience while still coming back in time to reinforce the middle temple. Another thing you can do, for instance when you're Sergeant Hammer or Vala, you can stand right here, attack the minions, and even if you don't attack, you're still close enough to get XP, but you're also close enough and sheltered enough to support the middle temple. Okay, the temples have opened, but there's no one standing on them yet. This is probably a little bit of efficiency loss from both teams, but it's okay. The Gazlo here is trying to capture the middle temple, but he is 1 versus 2. Which means ideally we should have the top temple at the same time, and we do. We've got 1 here, we're laning here. The red team is trying to poke into the blue temple here, but will not be able to do so by himself. And we're still laning the middle and the bottom as well. So if it stays like this, we've got 1 poker, we've got 3 laners, and we've got the top temple. It's an ideal situation of full optimization. The blue team has now committed 5 people to the middle temple, which means it's pointless to poke at it, except to make them think that we're trying to push into this temple. So if we show ourselves here, they may stay in the situation, which is way too safe for them. It's too safe for them to commit 5 heroes here. And what the poking is doing is making them feel like they're unsafe here and committing to overly much safety. We're laning in every lane with the Vikings, but even if the Vikings were not here but they were at bottom, still same situation. So we're taking a very big XP advantage while having tempo advantage. And what I'm doing here with the Zeratul is I'm forcing them to stay here in this lane. Now Tyrande, she understood what was happening, so she went to the top lane to start soaking experience points here again. But what they're not getting is experience from middle and particularly bottom. So the red experience bar continues to grow. Eric died there, one of the Vikings, but that's only 1/3 of a hero, and in fact it's counted as 1/4 of XP. So let's say that during this time the siege giants were taken. That would be a very difficult situation to deal with for people who are trying to keep temples. So you can see that if you take it right at 2 minutes, that would be optimally greedy and effective. But difficult to find the heroes for it to actually do that. Again, the death timers are bugged, so try not to pay them any heed. Okay, the temples are done. They ended at around 2:35. So the next bottom temple will be around 4:30. 2 minutes later. Okay, we're now going out of the early game phase into the second part of the early game. Getting the vision again. No minions dying here, so someone should get mid experience, which is indicated by the Gaslow, who wants to get the siege giant. We've got 2 people at top lane. During this time, I want to say it's optimal to get the bruiser camp, to capture it at around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. If we do that, we're going to create a division of attention for the opponents. And it will kill this fort. This would require us to have Malfurion probably stay here, Tychus to go to the bruiser, and Viking to soak bottom while also sending 2 Vikings to the bruiser. If we did that, that would be nice. But of course, when you're being efficient like that and you're committing 1 or 2 heroes to merc camps, every hero is going to be by himself in every lane, which means they're easy pickings for coordinated opponent ganks. And you don't want to die. So you've got to, when you realize that this is happening, people doing merc camps, lane more passively. It's easy to do the thing that is in front of you by doing multi-shot on the opponent minions, cleave, but when you do that, you're pushing the lane in the opponent's direction, which means you've got to be further out to get experience from it. Very simple mobile mechanics for experienced players like from League of Legends or Dota, but people who are new to the hero brawler genre may not be aware of it. I know I wasn't, because this is my first. Okay, so the bruisers have been captured by both teams who are now fighting each other. You see they always die pretty quickly after capture because they usually get captured after the temples open. Now let's take a look at the split that people are doing. During the second part of the early game, which is the time before the bottom temple opens, it's nice to start spreading 1, 1, 3. Because the bottom lane is going to be most important. Push it out and you'll have your minions help in combat for any open fights here. Let it be pushed and you're going to be distracted by siege giants, by enemy minions while trying to push into the temple. Furthermore, the Zagara is starting to plant creep tumors. Very smart and good zoning. It will give her more regeneration, movement speed, scouting info. So she set up her network and they're arriving early here. Perhaps slightly too early. No one is minding mid lane, even though the temple hasn't been forewarned yet, so that's a mistake by both teams. Okay, so we've got 2 heroes from the blue team, and I want to say that these 2 heroes are not doing the right thing. They should be clearing this wave, but if they're unable to do quickly, and these two are the worst in the opponent's team to clear waves, they really need to think, okay, at 420, 430, the next tempo is going to start. We are not of the amount of HP that we need to be to provide assistance to our team. They need to Hearthstone now, or take a Wellspring if they still have it, and go to the bottom lane very, very soon. Okay, we lost a hero here, Tychus, and the temple's being started. So temple's activated in 9 seconds. Tychus is dead for 13, which means we're going to be down a few people. And if the Diablo here, well, the Diablo's actually gonna kill the Zeratul, but he's gonna arrive late. So initially they have the advantage here, since they have position. And this is the rule that I say: first team to arrive has the advantage and will win the temple. When all other things are similar. We've got Vikings, Malf and Gazlo full HP, as well as the opponent's 3 are full HP. Tychus and Zeratul are missing, as well as Diablo and where's Tyrande? Tyrande is dead. Yeah, so there's 2 on both teams missing, except Olaf, I guess. So there's more like 2/3 hero here. But even if Olaf was here, they would not be able to steal the temple now because of the good positioning. All things are not equal though. We are 1 level ahead because of the better early game phase. But as you can see, it's quickly being cancelled out by the experience gleaned from this temple killing towers. So they're getting the first half of the ammunition, you see. Now Vikings is doing his job to keep soaking experience, which keeps the red team in the lead. Tyrande is still here, but because she's too slow at clearing XP, she really shouldn't be here anymore. And as she understands that, she goes to help at the bottom temple. 4 players the blue team has, as the red team is trying to push in with 4. Finally, everyone has arrived except Olaf, who's still getting XP, and is helping the red team get level 10 faster. A big fight ensues. It's messy, it's dirty, it's difficult to push in here. But at the same time, the Guardians are providing distraction and hurting the enemy team. Furthermore, Diablo is going too far out of the lane. Instead of tanking for his team, he is attacking from behind. Now he did a good job by killing Gazlo there, and now he finds himself in a good position. And it looks like the blue team is winning this, but because of the experience that was gained, that was crucial, both by Olaf as well as the early phase, level 10 is reached, and it will allow the red team to defeat the blue team here. Looks pretty cool, man. Yeah. Okay, so the early game is over. The next time there will be a bottom temple and a mid, or a bottom and a top. At this time, vanilla pushing starts. There will be Siege Giant and Bruisers available again, but you don't want to go too quickly to it. After the whole team on both sides had a party at the bottom, you need to consider that there's waves of experience waiting everywhere. So firstly, you should try to get that, and then once that's stabilized, you should try to get some camps. As you see, the wave was pushed here, so it's possible to go get any kinds of camps. And let the people who are best at clearing camps do it. Now, some people, they try to go for the boss right after the first temple, or they try to go for it while the bottom temple has been occupied by the opponent. This never works out. It's a death trap and you will die, so try not to take the boss too fast. We got some vanilla push here. They're doing bruisers, but they're losing XP in the lane, so I don't really like that. I would like to see like 1 person take the cap, 1 person getting XP. 2 people are pushing top here again. It's not too bad, it makes them safe. But another camp being done here, which is a little bit risky because they're going to be outnumbered on the lane. 2 ultimates used here by the blue team. Zeratul got killed by a few well-placed abilities. Let's fast forward a little bit and go to a later phase. 4 people here at top lane, some bruisers here, some XP. Next temples will be happening around, what would it be? Around now. Okay, so the middle and the bottom temple. Which one do you take? Say for instance, forget the positioning of both heroes. Which one is more valuable? It's the bottom one is more valuable. Because the bottom one offers easy access to the boss. So let's say if you commit 5 to the bottom, and the opponent commits 5 to the middle, or maybe does some lane experience as well, you can leave this one with all but 1 and start to try and take the boss with 4, potentially. But not too far of a distance from the middle either. It's different. It's actually more like halfway in between, so you can't really take the boss. It's different if it's like top temple and bottom. If you see several heroes at the top, and you take with the bottom one, you can actually take the boss really fast because they need to go past the watchtower, the middle and everything. But for this one, actually it's somewhat equal. Maybe the middle temple is worth more because it allows you to branch out and get the middle and the top lane of experience, whereas the bottom temple only gets the bottom lane of experience. But we don't forget about the positioning. There is hero positioning. We are concentrated towards the top. So is the blue team. So a fight will ensue 5v5. However, you look at the minimap. Always before a fight starts, look at your hero levels and the minimap. There's several different levels where you get a new talent, level 13, 16, 20, 10, 7, 4. If you are of a new talent and the opponent doesn't have it, that's worth a lot. You get all these nice abilities, the opponent doesn't have it. So we should be able to beat them 5v5, even if they take initial position. And even though Gaslow is a hero that benefits from arriving early. However, you look at the map, we see 1 Viking here, 2 Vikings here, and you must conclude that even 13 versus 12, it's not feasible to push in with 4 versus 5. So once we see that, we should call for a retreat and say take the bottom temple. So I inform the team, there's 5 at the middle, take bottom. And then you have to start thinking, okay, what else? Enemy committed 5 to the middle. What else? Are we going to take the bruiser? Are we going to take the boss? Or are we going to take lanes? Or do a vanilla push? What do you think is best to do in this situation? Think about it. Look at the situation, where the red heroes are. What would be best to do? What's the safest? Or what's the best? Okay, you thought about it. The options are, take the bruiser. We are kind of near to it. The bruisers are going to push the top lane. It will be easy for them to reach and defend. But still, it's a yellow merc marker eliminated from the map. It's very attractive. People do objectives just for the sake of it because they're asking on the map. They're asking for it. It's not, it's not useless. It's something, and it gives some experience and some push power. While the enemy is clearing up bruisers, maybe you can go get the boss because they're distracted. If they're clearing it with 2-3 heroes, you can put all 5 on the boss after. So this is valid. I like it. Another option is to passively or aggressively do every lane of experience. Now this is nice, but as the hero levels advance to 12, 13 plus, lane experience isn't as valid as hero experience. Let's say you lane every lane, and you see the opponent sees it, and they have 5 at the temple, and they're like, well shucks, we don't really need to commit 5 at the temple, do we? We see 1 hero here, 1 here, 1 here. They can do a gank, kill a hero, and it's worth more than whatever experience you were gathering. So I think this one is a little passive and a little risky, and it doesn't really have the right risk-reward ratio. Finally, you can say take the boss now immediately. Risky. The opponent sees that all 3 lanes are abandoned. They see that the bottom temple is currently firing at their fort, which means they know that 4 heroes are missing, potentially. The bottom can be kept with 1. They don't see anyone else. They start thinking, where can those 4 heroes be? They can be at the bruiser, they can be having a picnic in the core, or maybe they're getting the boss. Now they will center their minimap vision on the boss. They look at it. And actually, there is a bug that you can hear sounds from enemy spells in the fog of war. So you suddenly hear, whoo, whoo. It's like, hey, is that an Alfiro layer there? Is there some moonfire happening in the general vicinity of the boss? And are they playing and giving each other moonfire showers? Or are they maybe getting the boss? I think they're getting the boss. Let's go take a look with all 5 of us Leave the temple for now, do a 5v4 gank. Yeah, really, leave the temple? Yes. Leave the temple, leave whatever ammunition, go with all 5 to the boss. You kill these guys, you steal the boss, okay, now you go back to the temple. It's worth it. Okay, so maybe that's a little risky. Then you can say, okay, bit of XP from the middle, then run. XP from bottom lane, we got this one. We still see, okay, they have 5. Let's do a vanilla push. We push with 2, 3, 4 heroes on this fort. Okay, now we got double, that's like having 2 temples. Vanilla push plus the temple. So let's see what we really do, I don't remember. Okay, we get a bit of experience from this lane. We get the experience from bottom lane. We help a little bit here. Vikings didn't require help, but Tychus helps anyway, because he's a bro. We start going for here. They start getting antsy and paranoid about the boss. The bottom fort was killed by Gazlo, so he did that vanilla push that I talked about. But no other enemy forts, no blue forts are within easy siege range of vanilla pushing, because the enemy controls the middle, the tower, which also prevents access to the top, and essentially has a very short defense distance to the middle. At this point, what can the red team do? And now I want to say that even though I thought the best is to do a vanilla push, I think in hindsight maybe we should have committed 2 to the bruisers. Let it push top and provide a distraction for an eventual boss capture. Look, we're just kind of wasting time. We're walking in between, walking back here. This temple is gone, so what am I really doing here? These guys are just waiting around, waiting around. He got the temple by himself. So time was wasted, and in hindsight, bruisers should have been capped. And I wonder what you thought. I want to read the feedback on the YouTube video later here. Okay, in the meantime, we do get a Diablo kill here, because he was as aimless as we were. We were looking for souls to kill, and we found it. Okay, let's fast forward with sound off, so it doesn't spam our senses. Okay, now we start taking the bruiser camp, and it's going to provide a distraction. In the meantime, everyone is kind of paranoid in the middle. We don't want them to take the boss, they don't want us to take the boss. Getting the bruisers, and they think, let's take the boss. It makes sense. Look at the map, there are no objectives to take. No temples, it's not safe to just push in. They are lower level. They need to do something risky to try and get back into the game. And there's nothing else to do. We know this as well. So I start pinging here and start checking out. I arrive and I show the team they're taking the boss. Bruisers is now going to push top, which will probably end up killing this fort. In the meantime, we're going to try and contest. Okay, here we go. We start going hard on Malfurion, but he heals himself. Starfall is done. Diablo does his ultimate. And Zagara's ultimate as well. We're dropping low, we're trying to out-heal. An ult was used, but we were unable to push in time and steal the boss. So a good risk taken by the blue team. Exactly right for the situation. And possibly preventable had we kept the bruiser camp earlier. Or at least we would have got more value out of it. Still, we're still here, they have the boss. It's not too strong yet at this time, and we're still pretty healthy. So we start taking them down. Zagara has already perished, Diablo will perish now, and we keep chasing. How much more people are gonna die? Gazlo did perish, but we got 2 heroes already, so the hero level lead stays, and Stitches goes down as well. As well as Malfurion. So 4 hero kills. And this comes at an opportune time because the next temples are spawning. 2 temples. Now in this situation, all things are not equal. We've killed 4 heroes and everyone is alive. We should be able to take both temples. We also have 1 talent more. Taking some bruisers. We take the top. They wanted to take the top, but they can't, so they'll try to take the bottom instead. We were late to arrive here, And a 1 versus 2 is not feasible. Gaslow should probably leave. 1 versus 2 he's trying to poke, but more people are gonna come. And it was too greedy, and we will perish. Okay, now this is the final point that I want to show here. And I'll upload the replay so that you can watch the rest for yourself. But the final point that I wanted to show is that since we were unable to capture both temples, the death timers were suitably short, and we were unable to commit enough heroes to the bottom early enough to get some early kills and keep the odds in our favor. Ideally, we would have had 1 or 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom, but it wasn't like that. The 3 at the bottom would have been able to kill the early Zagara and someone else, I think it was Malf, and then keep as 3 against the slowly trickling in enemy heroes. But because it wasn't like that, and the temples are very far apart, and we have no objectives, the only thing to do is to combine with a vanilla push. So even as the temple is attacking here, it isn't like Blackheart Bay where you're attacking this fort, but it goes down to 3 cannonballs anyway, and it wouldn't have mattered. The damage you added was wasted. Here, every hit you do on enemy siege will help your temple to do 1 more shot on something else. So vanilla push on Sky Temple is very powerful. So I saw that they pushed out the Gaslow, but it wasn't an unworthy sacrifice. Because Gaslow was there, we saw that at least 4 heroes were committed. And this is completely safe to do. So turn on the searing attacks, hitting that fort, and taking it down. Even as the temple is gone, down goes the keep. Malfurion sees that Zeratul is dropping low and comes here for some healing. The Vikings come to help as well, and a safe retreat is made. So now you look at the map, the only objective is the bruiser camp. It's the only thing to be done. If you don't feel up to pushing into an enemy fort as 5 versus 5, which is really risky, the bruiser is the only camp. So now it becomes evident that there will be enemy presence there no matter how you turn it. So if Malfurion, for instance, was to walk into this bush to say, I'm going to check this one for enemy presence, it would be incredibly foolhardy. It would be foolish because where else is the opponent going to be? You don't have any map vision of them. There's only one objective. Try to use your head and think ahead. So Malfurion does not face check it. The Vikings do not face check it. They would have run into 2 heroes, but for all they know, it would be into 4 or 5 heroes. At the same time, blue team is trying to set a trap, as is the red team. Cloaked heroes offer the advantage of being more safely able to check, and we confirm enemy presence here, as do the Vikings. We don't have any melee warriors, so setting a trap with just ranged and melee damage heroes is risky. I quickly ask for a retreat of Tychus, who will also get spotted by Stitches and Zagara, as this was certain to prove an unfruitful result. In the meantime, Gaslow understands that we're not gonna risk our lives and risk hero deaths just for bruisers, which really isn't that important at this phase. So we start clearing creeps, getting lane experience, and waiting for an opportunity to trap. Always keep in mind, when there are no objectives on the map, one team is gonna trap the other, sure as rain. Alright, that was it for now for me for the Sky Temple guide. Check out the YouTube subscription for the replay and additional information about what we talked about here. Thanks very much. I hope you liked this Sky Temple guide. And let me know what you think in the YouTube comments. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can see future guides. The next guide is going to be Nova One-Stop Guide. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day, great night. And see you guys next time on my stream or on the next YouTube video. Goodbye.